watching How Sparks Mega Worldwide. I think that shows taste and breeding on your part. Like, subscribe, share the show. Let's build our crowd into an enormous... is it wrong that I just want to say, I just was overwhelmed with the desire to go, can you dig it? But, share the show, make a comment on the clips that we post sometimes. If you see one, you're like, ooh, people need to see this. That's even enough. That helps in the algorithm of this. Also, maggots and trolls, thank you for being here. I know you're big Greg Kelly fans. I know you love his lip jut and his weird habit of reading off of his desk in his very professional news studio at the Newsmax garage. How bizarre is the title of this one? Come on. How bizarre, fellas. 355 million. How bizarre. Harumph. This is Greg Kelly pokes holes in the many cases against Trump. Well, somebody had to. Thank God Greg Kelly is here. Take it home, Greg. The most miserable man on the internet. Welcome, Greg Kelly. You waste of time.
How bizarre. How bizarre. How bizarre. Who remembers that song? Big in the 90s?
Really? What? What? How bizarre. How bizarre. Remember that? No, I don't. What?
All right. It is bizarre. But you know what? It's getting a little bit normal. All these crazy cases against Donald.
Yes. Trump is such a criminal. His reputation as a criminal is settling in.
Trump, and they are crazy. They are without merit. It is my...
No, there's kind of a lot of merit. If you don't believe me, look, I know you're not going to want to hear it from me that they have merit. Talk to Alina Habba, because she's the one filling out the forms poorly.
My responsibility, however, to address these things.
It is your responsibility. Thanks for being here, Greg. If it wasn't for you, we'd have to laugh at someone else.
The way few others are doing.
Oh, you mean without any attachment to reality or logic, or are you going to do this from the bus? Is that what you mean?
You may have noticed by now that most people in the media never actually read the reports.
Well, Greg, this might shock you, but on this channel, kind of pride myself on doing it, dum-dum. Now, please, I think it was Hannibal Lecter who said, throw me with your acumen.
They don't read the Her report. They don't read the Mueller report.
They don't read the Her report and the Mueller report. Okay, motherfucker, you did not read the fucking Mueller report.
And they don't...
Or the Durham report.
Don't read this judge's crazy ruling. To some extent, I don't blame them.
Because I didn't read those other things. Well, I tried, but I was asking people on the bus what certain words meant, and they gave me a wedgie.
But I basically do. Yeah.
Why prep for a show? Just make it up as you go along.
You have to confront this stuff.
You do.
And I have. And I've seen some interesting matters that have received no attention.
Well, let's dive into it, motherfucker.
That must receive some.
Yeah, some, obviously.
Some of these issues are not that big.
Nah, some of them are petty bullshit that won't change a thing. Fantastic. That's the kind of shit I need to hear, buddy. Tell me all about it. I'll put it on the fucking website. Also, yes, my back is so fucking hairy it comes out of my goddamn shirt.
Others are absolutely huge.
Huge.
Let's start with something medium, okay?
Yeah, don't dive straight in.
Okay, medium. The state of New York brought in this guy, Michael, he spells his name a little bit funny, McCarty.
Well, they spell it like you'd say it back in the old country. You don't you know? You say it McCarty. You don't write it down. We don't need a thought in there. What are we, fucking Castilian Spanish? McCarthy. You got a fucking lisp. Keep it at home, you tit. It's McCarthy.
He's a financier. He was New York State's expert witness, right? He was the plaintiff. He had information, his analysis.
He was not the plaintiff. They were the plaintiff in this case. He was not, whatever.
Said that Trump was a bad guy.
Well, that's true, obviously. And I'm sure he was basing that on him being friends with Jeffrey Epstein for 2 decades and only kicking him to the curb when Jeffrey Epstein beat him, raised the price of a property that he was trying to buy to sell to a Russian oligarch so the guy could bulldoze the fucking place. Fucking with you. It's probably the Access Hollywood tape.
And engaged in fraud and all kinds of other things, right?
Yeah, all kinds of other
He was their expert witness.
Uh-huh.
New York State has a budget of $230 billion.
It's a big state. It might shock you to know that Goldman Sachs has $5 trillion worth of wealth go through their computer system, their banking system, every day.
Hundreds of thousands of people work for New York State. They had to find this guy and pay him $400,000 to
Yeah, there's a lot of, he had to study up on this stuff, and he had to be right about it, so they had to spend months going through the books and going through the stuff or whatever. It's a project. It's months and months and months. And he had a staff go through it. They had to compare it against the law. He had to recognize whether there was a case to be made. He had to refer, his beliefs about it to them before they actually proceeded, and then he had to testify based on that. It's a whole group. Fuck it. They wrote him a check for $400K. It probably came from CEFC.
testify and go through the paperwork.
Just go through the paperwork. That's the other thing too. The testifying part was like $35, but the rest of it was going through the paperwork. Was it? Do I need to cut to the video of how much fucking money Trump, or how much paperwork Trump said I provided billions and billions of pieces of paper.
He didn't even.
That wasn't even a fucking penny a sheet.
Work in real estate at any point, not on the resume that the judge was so excited about. And the judge was really excited that this guy went to the Wharton School.
Yeah, Trump's very excited about people who went to the Wharton School. I don't know why. Are you about to make the case that the Wharton School cranks out idiots and assholes? Please do.
Hey, he went to the Wharton School. He must know what he's talking about.
Trump went to the Wharton School, and he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about.
He was very impressed. Why wasn't he impressed that Donald Trump went to the Wharton School? Donald Trump Jr. went to the Wharton School.
Because not everyone who went to the Wharton School is being charged with fraud. I don't know that the Wharton School is proud of that fact. And you know what? I'm interrupting too much. Obviously, he's going to get to some kind of a point.
Ivanka Trump went to the Wharton School. Mm-hmm. As I said, this is not the biggest thing.
It's not even a thing. It's not a thing. It's not, as things go, it's not a thing.
But $400,000? I understand that sometimes this happens. It shouldn't be happening. The government should not be paying people that kind of money.
Does anybody want to tell him what Trump spent on his impeachment?
If they don't have their own experts to do it, maybe it's not worth doing.
That is their expert. They have to bring in outsiders, so they can't just say, you ginned this up with people in your department. I can't fight the entire government. We outsource this. Blah, blah, blah.
And the judge himself, wow, what a piece of work. And now that I've gone through this thing.
Gone through what? Oh, he read the thing.
I really think this guy is, deranged. And he was part of a conspiracy, really.
Yeah, really. Sort of a conspiracy, that started years ago with someone talking Trump into being a criminal so that they'd be on this trajectory. They were headed towards each other, like across the fields of time.
Hurt Trump politically before the election.
That obviously I'm just saying there would have been a big monkey wrench thrown in that entire plan if at some point Trump had decided not to defraud people. You know what I mean? It would have made his job a lot harder.
Appeal, don't worry about it. We'll all be dead before that thing comes around in 5-10 years.
What? We're not going to be dead in 5-10 years. The fuck's wrong with you? What the shit? I don't even know what he's talking about. That's some crazy shit. What the hell happened to my face just then? I don't know. Excuse me. This is, I push the wrong button sometimes. back the fuck up. Oh, we're on the brink of World War III?
before the election. The appeal, don't worry about it. We'll all be dead before that thing comes around in 5-10 years. Every little discrepancy.
What? Whoa, 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 whoa. If we're all going to be dead within 5 to 10 years, I would say kind of time to liquidate your real estate holdings. You know what I mean? At this point, if you own anything but a volcano layer, you own a popcorn fart. Did somebody step on a duck?
Every little thing that might have been a thing he thought was fraud. He doesn't seem to understand that accounting mistakes, well, happen all the time. The government does them to the tune of many, many billions, sometimes trillions of dollars.
No, not sometimes trillions of dollars. And also, especially around the Pentagon, I would like to remind you that the Pentagon has a reason for not sharing shit, dum dum. And one of the things about storage are like, it's weird. How come they can't account for that $3 billion? Like, it's not that we can't. So we're not going to. Are you fucking stupid? If we can, if you know, they know. How fucking dumb are you? Nebraska state auditor says government accounting mistakes increasing after experts retire. Well, it's that fucking elites, you know what I mean? Experts. What do the experts know? I think if Greg Kelly has taught us anything that you can't trust experts. So good move, Nebraska. Uber is paying its New York City drivers tens of millions because of an accounting error that underpaid them for years. Yeah, this would be an example, fuckhead, of a case like Trump's where they got busted doing it. And then South Carolina comptroller acknowledges $3.5 billion accounting mistake in state cash balances. Yeah, the oversight, he didn't run off with it. And by the way, is there anything in any of these where they're like, no, we're not going to revise the accounting error at all. We're not going to even, we're just going to argue that $6.2 billion is actually $1 billion. Because that's how let's just go through how Trump would handle all of these. Trump would just say there is no accounting error. That $6.2 billion is the government spends that, and it never would have happened if he was in charge of it. Nebraska state auditor, government accounting mistakes increasing after experts retire because Trump knows all the best people and he could fix it in 24 hours. Also, you can't trust experts, and he knows more about the money than the experts do. He knows more about Nebraska than people who live in Nebraska do. Uber is paying New York City drivers tens of millions because of accounting. Nobody wants to live in New York anymore. That's why they're losing money, because New York's a cesspool and the crime is out of control, and that's how he would handle that. And then the South Carolina comptroller acknowledged $3.5 billion accounting mistake in state cash balances. Which again, this is that's just two Mar-a-Lagos. I don't even know why you're even worried about it. Shut the fuck up.
In the accounting industry, actually, they generally recognize that mistakes happen.
Right, and they admit to the mistakes and remedy the mistakes. And if it's found out that they, in trying to remedy the mistake, that it wasn't really a mistake and they were trying to claim it's a mistake when they did it on purpose, they get in trouble, which would probably be where the Uber thing happened. He does realize that Trump and the Trump organization never argued these were mistakes. They didn't accidentally say his apartment was 3 times bigger than it was. They didn't accidentally say that 40 Wall Street had 10 more fucking floors than it actually does.
And many of them, actually most of them, 82% are considered accidental.
Yeah. Yeah, those would be the ones that don't end up in court. Now talk about the ones that do. The 18%. That would be kind of important. That would bring us to, because, according to you, Trump is a very special guy. He's in the top 1% of the 18% that are actually stealing.
By academics, business academics, 82% are accidental. Anyway, back to the judge. He is convinced that
how many percentage that actually find their way into court are that? Also, where does that 82% number come from?
anything that Donald Trump did, that if there's a discrepancy or if there's any room for debate, it must be fraud. Well, I think he's the fraud. And I actually think he's lying in this opinion. And I'm about
Well, it's very exciting. Get to
to
it.
show you.
All right, show us where he's lying in the opinion. You know, I think it's clear to anybody who didn't want to sit next to me on the bus.
Donald Trump is the part owner of two buildings, 555 California Street in San Francisco, seen in
Cesspool, sure. Does Trump only own? I mean, he likes to blame Democratic mayors. I'm starting to think that it's Trump buildings that are causing the rise in crime everywhere.
the first Dirty Harry movie, by the way, and 1296th Avenue. Donald Trump owns 30% through Vornado. Vornado is the company. Donald Trump has a 30% stake in that, all right?
In Vornado Trust. Okay, he has a 30% stake in the Vornado Trust. Now, who else has a stake in Vornado Trust? Who else?
Okay. Now,
Yes, Sharknado Trust.
according to the judge, this is really bad that Donald Trump considers this cash. Every year, Donald Trump's interest in the Vornado partnership was included in the cash portion of his SFC, falsely indicating that it was at his disposal and that it was liquid, when it clearly and contractually was not. Now, look at that word. You see, cash. Cash is in quotes. Remember that. Next, please. The Trump Foundation from the SFC's cash assets, okay? He's always talking about cash, just the word cash.
Yeah, Cash. Fucking, we get it. Hello, I'm Johnny Cash. I hear that train a coming. It's coming around the bend, but Greg Kelly's on the bus. Sorry.
Well, I have the SFC. This is the
Statement of financial condition.
of financial condition for Donald Trump from the Mazars accounting firm. And by the way, they are a piece of work. I'll get to
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know why you would trust him.
them later.
You mean because they dumped him because he was lying to them?
This is what Mazars said about the Vornado Trust. Page 1 of this thing. Take a look. Cash and cash equivalents.
Oh, fuck you, dude. Cash and cash equivalents are the same thing. A bond is a cash equivalent because you can sell it immediately. Real estate's not a cash equivalent. Your stake in a trust that owns property is not a cash equivalent. Fuck you. Cash and cash equivalent. That's why he puts it in quotes, you dumb motherfucker. Oh my God. He did it. He managed to do it. He did it. It's actually dumber than I thought. This is dumber. This is dumber than I thought it was going to be. He didn't say it was cash. He said it was a cash equivalent. All right, why do you think, what the fuck? What?
Escrow, reserve deposits, and prepaid expenses. The judge took that word cash by itself, but the column, the whole entry is for cash and cash equivalents.
Oh, fuck you. That's why cash is in quotes, because the word's going to upset you. It's the number of number of letters in it, and it's just an overwhelming. You start reading it and your brain goes to horsies and you get to Valve or Valent and you're like Prince Valiant and you get really confused and then you back up and try it again, and it's cash equivalents. The equivalent of cash has to have the same mobility and liquidity as cash. That's what makes it a cash equivalent. You fucking dummy.
Cash. Green. I mean green cash.
Uh-huh. By the way, that's probably why Trump said it that way, because they knew this ruling was fucking them because of whatever. Greg, dude, please tell me this is one of the small things.
Later.
Also, the idea that he's, quote, lying, because your reasoning for your accusation that Judge Engeron is lying in a legal filing that has the weight of being able to extract $355 million from an individual. You think his lies are that cheap and other people didn't notice cash and cash equivalent are sort of the same thing, but not quite, but the same and not quite. You really think you caught him in that trap? I'm caught in a trap. I can't walk out because the bus is not here, baby.
In this report by the...
God damn, this is dumb. Fuck me. I got to tell you, this is bringing me a weird kind of a joy right now. Shit.
accounting firm Mazars. Funds in the amount of 8.4 have been escrowed pursuant to the terms of the loan in place as of June 30th, 2019. This asset is reflected in this financial statement under the caption escrow, reserve deposits, and prepaid expenses. Back to that initial column, cash and cash equivalents, escrow, reserve deposits, prepaid expenses.
No, that's two separate fucking things, dummy. Okay. Escrow, reserve deposits, and prepaid expenses are not the same thing. This is the money as cash equivalents. These are separate category, dummy. These are two different things, and then there's subheadings. See the document? See the document where they have a heading, and then they have subheadings underneath it that explain the rest of it? These are two separate categories. God damn, this dude is dumb.
Expenses. Really? You're going to try to ruin the guy over this?
No. You're going to try and save him this way, dum-dum? Greg. Fuck, man. You're an idiot. Someone please send this clip to Greg Kelly before he strikes again. Greg, this is fucking ridiculous. I hope you're watching this takedown clip of you on the fucking bus right now, and I hope the people over your shoulder, and because you're such an asshole, I guarantee you're not wearing headphones, so everybody else on the bus can hear me calling you what you are. You're an idiot. This is fucking dumb. Don't go after people who do this shit all the time as if you're like, ah. God damn. Oh. And I thought Jim Jordan was the dumbest guy of the show today. Nope.
I think, Judge, you should be ruined.
Ouch. Bam.
That was very, very misleading.
You can't read, can you, Greg? You have trouble understanding words, don't you? Is this your first day on Earth, Greg? Welcome. Welcome. Welcome to Earth. Why don't you sit down and listen for a while before you make a bigger ass out of yourself? Because this is, you're getting ridiculous now.
What you did with the cash, right? That's a little game you're playing, isn't it?
I don't think he's listening, Greg. I mean, I know you're going to watch this later because you get all mad about it. And also stop doing this. Creeps us the fuck out. Your tongue jut is like the third worst in the business. I mean, you and Rudy Giuliani are always jockeying for second place.
These would be good questions for prosecutors, right? Attorneys, government attorneys. You ever notice that whenever they have the chance to talk to the media, they run away?
I'm deeply proud to stand shoulder to shoulder with them. Thank you very much.
Why Florida, sir? Why did you decide to bring...
These women and men are public servants of the very highest order, and it is a privilege to work alongside them. Thank you.
Why didn't you charge any of the other co-conspirators?
He's not, neither of them are running, metaphorically.
The
rule of law applies to all of us, equally, fairly, and justly. Thank you.
Why did they run away? Why, a big moment.
I'll tell you why, stupid. Come here. Because the question and answer part of what they do specifically is going to happen in a courtroom. In the case of Jack Smith, it's directly ongoing, and in the case of Letitia James, there's going to be an appeal. So if she makes prejudicial statements or answers a question about something else that isn't within the confines of legally what they know is safe boundaries to discuss or how to discuss this kind of thing. They might get into an area where they set up the appeal for the person that they just convicted, and that's or won against in the court of law. So they don't get involved in kind of tit for tat conversations about this. It's a bad idea. They're finishing their statement and then they're leaving. That's their official statement. They're officially saying it, and then it happens. Especially in the case of Jack Smith, who hasn't even gone to court yet. He's still in the process. They just have to announce certain things and be direct about it and going, yes, this came from us. This is the standard for it. We're standing by this, and then we'll see in court, essentially, is the statement. What he wants is them to stand there while somebody can ask them a pointed question, and they could say, shut the fuck up. And then he could go, no, you shut the fuck up. And then Jack Smith tries to strangle the guy, and then they use that as a reason to get the case thrown out. That's what he's hoping for.
You're indicting somebody. You just got some sort of conviction. You got a judge to agree with you. Don't you take some questions?
No.
No, because they can't handle questions.
Yeah, that's why they went on to be in court all the time, because there's no questions, legally binding questions that happen in court.
They don't have to worry about it really because the media stink these days.
Yeah, that's what it is. They stink. Well said.
But these are not good people.
No, they're not. They're not good people like you, Greg. You're a good person. You're a good guy, Greg. You're just dumb. That's the thing. It's not that you can't do good things. It's just you're stupid and you don't know how. You need somebody to teach you how to take all that goodness that's inside of you and it all over everyone.
These are not good people.
Okay, I take it back. You're a dick.
And what they did to Alan Weisselberg, the CFO at the Trump Organization, from everything I know, this is a good guy. And
So they're not good. He is good. Okay. The guy who did Alan. I mean, I don't know. I haven't been privy to the conversation. Did Alan at any point go, "Hey Don, real quick before we end the meeting, maybe you shouldn't hang out with Jeffrey Epstein anymore"? I think it's just I'm getting a vibe.
he didn't do anything wrong.
Nothing. Except, we aided and abetted all the fraud in the company and helped them do it as basically a mob accountant forever.
And I think the prosecutors knew that too, but they were out to get him. This is Mark Pomerantz. The book that he wrote, the stuff that this guy admitted to. He's a former federal prosecutor who volunteered to help the Attorney General and the District Attorney in New York, his own free time, to help find a way to get Trump.
So I guess you can argue with success.
So this is his suspicion about Weisselberg, okay? Let's start with that. We suspected there were skeletons in Weisselberg's closet, if only because he had worked closely with Trump for decades.
Yeah, that would yeah, I could see where you would go there. Yeah.
How about that, huh? Is that evidentiary? Does that sound like blind justice?
It's in a book. It's in a book. It's not what they base the case on.
It's worse, a lot worse.
Well, it would have to, I guess.
The audio version of his book where he...
Well, that's probably worse. Does he cough through the whole thing? Did he wait until he had a head cold like I do? And like, we suspected there were skeletons in Weisselberg's closet. If only because... Oh, God, this is never going to go. Can I get somebody get me some... I don't know any Dayquil or NyQuil. I don't know what time of day it is. You know what? Just get me some Quill. I don't care. Just the green stuff. Just... Oh, good. Anyways, if only because we had worked closely with Trump for decades.
About trying to get Trump.
Kerry and I also discussed calling Weisselberg's lawyer to fire a warning shot over his bow. We could say that we might be coming after Weisselberg without specifying what we had on him, which was very little at that point, in the hope that he would get scared and fall into our laps as a witness.
That's
a normal strategy in a situation like this. This might shock you, Greg, but law enforcement often will bluff their way through when they know someone's guilty and they know the person is involved in criminality, but they don't actually have the evidence about it. They got some. They got circumstantial evidence, but if they lead the person in the right direction, they might admit to it. Most killers admit after a short order of time that they've done something, even if the police don't have all the evidence. They don't have the gun. They don't have the, what's it called? There's a kind of gun. It's not just every gun. So it has to be in a certain state where it's like heat involved, where something in the barrel is interacting with the air. I'll remember it later.
Like KGB stuff, right?
Just like KGB stuff. Yeah, they sprayed Novichok in his fucking face.
That's not America, in the hope that he would get scared and fall into our laps as a witness.
That's how a lot of RICO cases work.
Shame on these
And it did.
people. This is Gestapo stuff.
No, it isn't. Gestapo stuff, they would just come into your house and have a glass of your milk and tell your daughters to stand outside while they asked you in English if the Jews were under the floorboards.
And it gets worse.
Well, again, it would kind of have to.
It really does. Look at
I don't believe you, but try again.
some of the nonsense these guys have pulled on American citizens.
Yes, it is gazpacho stuff.
I heard about an episode in which a federal prosecutor had invited a potential cooperator to meet and had set up an elaborate charade, creating a mock war room with file cabinets, supposedly, but not actually, filled with incriminating evidence. The prosecutor had gone so far as to stage a fake telephone call, pretending to have received a call from his boss about the potential cooperator, and responding with, "Yes, I'm with him now. Okay, but I think we should give him one last chance to help himself."
It worked, didn't it? Why is this surprising? Oy.
Well, that prosecutor should have been disbarred.
No. First of all, that wasn't a lawyer, but a prosecutor in this particular case that I know of. Hold on. Did he say it was a prosecutor? He goes, yeah, the prosecutor. Okay. Detectives do this shit all the time, and it works.
As for Mark Pomerantz, so that's an interesting technique. I like to do it this way, maybe a little bit different. And what do they do? How are they a little bit different? They can't get anything on Weisselberg, so they try to...
He did go to jail, you know. This is early. This is before... Okay.
Look at Weisselberg's son. And then they try to look at Weisselberg's ex-wife, who doesn't like the son anymore.
Why is that?
Alan's son, Barry Weisselberg, also worked for the Trump Organization, and Barry and his wife, Jennifer, had gone through a bitter divorce. Oh boy, here it comes. Jennifer had been spilling her guts to the press about the Weisselberg family and their relationship with Trump, and she had met several times with the District Attorney of New York personnel prior to my arrival.
I see. So that's where some of the stuff you got that was uncorroborated came from, but she was like an awareness witness, but she didn't have corroborating evidence. You were going to have to get some of that from her. But you had all the information about the criminality. You just didn't have the direct. It wouldn't stand up in a court of law, but you know, as far as furthering your investigation, it was valid.
And in those meetings, she had spoken about a free apartment that Trump had given her and Barry as a wedding present. And she had spoken generally about the relationship between Trump and Alan Weisselberg. And then they get excited. Aha! A free apartment. Did he file the appropriate paperwork between 2011 and 2017? These people are lowlifes.
They snuck into the apartment. They were sniffing her underwear. They ate all her chips. No, I'm kidding. They just looked at the tax documents and realized that he'd given it to them in lieu of pay.
Now, let me go to the accounting firm Mazars. Is that what they call themselves? Mazars? They famously dumped Trump as a
Yeah, I think that was a smart
client.
But, I mean, they're new to the whole accounting thing. They don't have a lot of big clients, so they probably just didn't know what they were getting themselves into, Greg. They probably just left Trump because they were like, I don't know. I'm hearing a lot of things. We should probably just, you know... I mean, I know we could make a lot of money with him, and he's on the up and up, but it would just look bad for us, guys. I think so. What do you think? I mean, we've only been in business a couple years.
The word was they were, oh, gosh, we had no idea they were so sloppy with the paperwork. Now, it looks like they were intimidated and scared by the general culture, the climate, especially post-January 6th.
Oh, woke. They went woke and went broke. That's what it was.
You may remember, I mean, Trump politically seemed to be dead meat, right? Except if you watch this show, I knew everything was going to work out.
Uh-huh. You mean like the election?
Remember the Trump signs coming down early in the administration, right?
Yeah, they didn't go back up, dum-dum.
Everywhere there was Trump, people wanted them taken down.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, Greg, if I may, let's see. Hard time selling. Probably should be something along those lines. Greg, this is 4 days ago. Greg, this is 4 days ago. 4 days. Stupid. Trump-branded condos sell for less than properties that remove his name, says report. Several court judgments have cost former President Donald Trump hundreds of millions of dollars, while his brand is costing New York City condo owners, a report suggests. The 2024 GOP frontrunner has ordered to pay a hefty fine, blah, blah, blah. Units in Trump-branded properties across Manhattan have declined in value since he was elected president in 2016. Did you spot that? Did you, Greg? You got that, man? Okay. A building that perhaps encapsulates a luxurious lifestyle that Mr. Trump was once synonymous with, until everybody knew what he smelled like. Trump Tower on Fifth Avenue, and where Mr. Trump announced his 2016 bid to run on the Golden Blah, blah, blah. Average price per square foot of his condos has fallen 49% since 2013. Some formerly Trump-branded buildings, where residents have opted to have the gold logo removed, have been spared and even saw a rise in value. This analysis cleanly identifies that the Trump brand is it is the Trump brand that is responsible for the value deterioration. But I'm sure you saw that coming, Greg. Come on, man. That was your... Right? Come on.
So after January 6th, of course, Twitter and Facebook, it's closed to Donald Trump. Everything seems closed to Donald Trump. Corporate America turns their back on him.
How dare they? How dare they?
Hey, something else in this trial from last week that ended. The penalty is odd. Yeah, you heard about the $450 million, but it's a 3-year ban from running companies in New York. That's not a lot of time. It's interesting, right? The $450 million and only 3 years.
It's probation, dummy. It's a 3-year ban on running companies during that time where they work all the shit out, and if they discover more criminality in there, it extends it further. He's got people who he has to hire somebody to run his company for him, and then they've got to go through all the books and that kind of stuff to make sure everything's on the up and up, which during that time, during 3 years, that gives them enough time to look into the shit and go, oh, excuse me, he was way worse than we thought.
Is this like a Freudian slip in sentencing? They realize that this is no big deal. How about the Suns? They only got 2 years, a 2-year ban, a 400.
Well, in all fairness, they're not going to. Nobody is ever going to ask them to run any other company except a Trump organization, and even still,
$150 million fine and 2-year something. It's literally not adding up. When it's really serious, Michael Milken, who remembers the financier, right? Great big fine. And a lifetime ban. He had a lifetime ban from the securities industry. It goes.
Yeah. Trump's not in the real estate business anymore. And his company is just a branding company. So he's not going to be able to buy and sell real estate. He never had the money to do it anyways. He's always been a front for somebody else. The recategorization of his LLCs is going to start to unravel. That's going to be the big story, by the way. Over the next year, and after he loses the election, which he's going to, they're going to start breaking into who are his silent partners in all of these little LLCs, because the person who's the training wheels on the Trump organization is going to start looking into this shit and going, holy fuck, look at all this Russian and Chinese money. Look at Romanian money. Look, all the places they said were coming from, that Joe Biden was getting money from. It was all projection. Look at this. All of his partners, he was just a front for all this fucking mobster money.
It's on like this. Theranos, Elizabeth Holmes, remember her? She's in jail right now. A 90-year ban from the federal health programs for what she did. Shkreli, the farmer bro, lifetime ban from the pharmaceutical industry, ordered to pay $64 million.
Yeah, but here's the thing. First of all, the Trump Organization is a private company. These are all people who ran either public companies or companies with other direct investors. That's why. Milken especially was taking other people's money and doing shit with it. Nobody trusts Trump anyways, so that's not the big fear. He's a brand. His brand is the problem, and there's no real way to make that go away. He'll be able to call himself something else in another couple of years. All these guys, though, were borrowing other people's money specifically and cheating people out of it. And in this specifically, beyond Skrelly, like Elizabeth Holmes created a fake medical device that could have cost people their lives.
Pete Rose, lifetime ban from baseball.
Yeah, but they always do that with baseball and gambling.
They actually understand.
Also, baseball is not it's not a city-based or a state or a federal thing. It's an organization. They can fucking tell you to fuck off however they want.
Very deep in.
They could literally set up so he's banned. He's got a lifetime ban from baseball except on Wednesdays. He's allowed to bet every Wednesday, but no other days for the rest of his life.
Side that they don't have the goods on Trump. All right, and that judge, that strange judge. What was he thinking, huh? What's going to come out on this
Your argument is that he was too lenient on Trump?
guy? How is this all going to play out? I don't know exactly, but it's going to be spectacular. Trust me.
Oh, yeah. Well, I do. Everybody, you guys trust him, right? I mean, what's not to like?